guys, and here we are on Atlantis Spaceship, the biggest two-player map I ever did see. And over here at the 12 o'clock position, it is our pink Zerg player from Millennium, and it's Stephano.
I'm trying to think of a bigger two-player map, but
yeah,
I'll keep thinking. Do the other intro. Yeah.
And at the 8 o'clock position, we have our red Protoss player from SK Gaming, the one and only MC.
Let's see.
I can't think of one.
Yeah,
I mean, this is. I mean, let's talk. Okay, so here we go.
Think of any other ones.
Here is Stephano's natural, and we're going. We're halfway there. We're going.
Yep.
Hey, that's MC's base.
Yeah, you know, it's like if Terminus Cross Positions was a two-player map. That's what this would be.
Basically, same tile set too. So
yeah, exactly. Big and dark and foreboding.
Yes,
foreboding.
Much the way I've always thought Atlantis to be.
Well, if it's under the ocean, I mean, if it's like down like 300 feet or something like that, or meters, or however you measure.
Did the Atlanteans go by the metric system? Did they use the metric system, or did they use the imperial system?
I don't know if anyone was able to ask them. Do you mean the imperial system, like you have Grand Moffs and captains and?
Yes, that is what I was referring to.
That's what I was wondering. Yep, they did have an emperor and Darths as well.
Good.
By the imperial system.
Good. How did they fall if they had Darths though?
Because it's the dark side, man. It never triumphs.
It's going to corrupt them. That's true. That's true. No, valid point. I will consider that next time.
Now we know why Atlantis didn't work out.
Okay. And this is History 101 with Kevinaki and Doa.
That's right, with Doa, Sir Nox-a-Lot.
Hope you've enjoyed your time. Yes, history taught by Sir Nox-a-Lot.
That's right.
MC going once again for 17 Nexus. So going back to the strategy play they used in the first couple of games. Works pretty well. This map, of course, as we mentioned going into it, very hard to pull off a gateway expand on.
Yeah.
As you can see, that walk distance was so ridiculously long. You can warp in units, yes, because of the mechanic of the warp in, but you can't get your first units there to start the process of putting on pressure, and that's kind of the linchpin of that.
Yeah, and if you lose your like early probe that you send across, and you're like, well, so much for that, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to send two probes because you'd like to mine, obviously. So
yes,
yeah, it's a map where you're gonna see Forge expands 99% of the time.
Yep.
But MC just threw that last game out there to just be like, all right, Stephano, you know, I can actually do builds that will shut you right down on smaller maps. So be careful what you pick. MC is just trying to mess with Stephano by taking a win like that.
All right, well, let's see here now as MC double gassing as well. Nothing too out of the ordinary. His Nexus is about 70% of the way complete. Stephano, though, he it looks like he's saving up for a third hatchery. Was already sending over a drone there, so this is pretty typical Stephano, pretty standard PvZ.
Yeah, not surprising at all. He's actually going to take that third hatch very, very quick. On some other maps, we see him take it around like 28 supply, but on this one, he's just going for it immediately.
Yeah.
And it's safe. You know, it's safe to do that.
Starting at 22 supply, very much so.
Yep.
So let's see now what MC is going to do if he wants to put on pressure. Excuse me, with Stargate once again, if he's going to switch things up. And just Cybernetics Core for now. The real move is going to be when this finishes up and how quickly he takes those third and fourth gases.
Now, I want people to note what you're pointing out already there, the Overlord. It's a good scout timing, sort of, to see the gas. But more importantly, he's going to be able to put that Overlord in a place to scout the gases at the natural. That's really what you want to keep an eye on as a Zerg player. So he's just going to put that Overlord right behind the natural expansion so he can kind of poke in there and see if MC is taking that third and fourth gas later on in the game, just because that'll give him a good indication of if MC is going to want to be very tech heavy, maybe take a third early, or if he's going to be more aggressive on two bases.
All right, well, Stephano's third hatchery just about to finish up now, and indeed he's doing just that. A nice little protected position back here that he'll eventually be able to sacrifice or move in and just duck in and check for those extra gases here in a bit.
Yeah.
MC waiting a little while, though, actually making a Stalker for now, which is kind of a surprising move, and he's going to send it out and try and put on a little bit of pressure, maybe force some units out of his opponent's map, just take map control away from those Zelnaga towers as well. So.
Yep.
And looks like Stephano now double gassing. So he went for a little bit earlier hatchery than we normally see out of him, and about 2 or 3 supply later gases. So he's really invested in his mineral production very early on.
You know, the funny thing is with that, it really depends on who you talk to. I've talked to Zergs that actually advocate waiting until like 50-something supply to take your gases. There's some that like to take it really early on in the 40s, some that like to take it late in the 30s. So right now, there's, you know, a lot of Zergs are like, yeah, 3 hatch is the best way to go against Protoss, but there's a lot of variation in when Zerg players decide to go for that double gas, you know. So that's something that I've kind of been studying, you know, the effects of. It doesn't seem like it makes a huge difference no matter which way you do it now. And how is that Overlord still being seen?
Yeah, no kidding. So
that was odd.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Oh, yeah, I thought he was on the high ground, but oh well, he lived. It's okay.
Yep.
No problem.
So a little bit of pressure going to be put on here as we do have 2 more gases, 3 more gateways coming up at the same time. So a little bit of 4-gate plus 1. This is pretty standard stuff. A little less aggressive than we've seen in the past from MC, but certainly going to force quite a bit of units out of Stephano.
You know, actually, I'm a bit surprised that Stephano's going for speed rather than just make a few more roaches at this point. When he knows that the attack is coming a little bit quicker, that the push is coming a little bit quicker. Just because you don't necessarily need speed Zerglings, but you will need roaches to do the actual damage. But
yes.
Here he goes. He's going to give it a try.
Because the Zerglings, you'll see how quickly they get torn up by those +1 Zealots.
Yeah, of course.
Wow, so quick there. And we only have 4 roaches on the ground with another 3 on the way. So going to be a little while before those are able to start doing anything. The roaches kind of tucking themselves into a little corner, though.
There we go.
A couple of those may go down here in a second. One does fall, but the rest of the attack has been cleared up. Oh, MC actually coming in with round number 2 now. Going to continue and cleave his way through a good number of Zerglings.
Yep, Stephano cleans this up just perfectly fine. I mean, kind of shows that you don't need Zergling speed or anything like that. Really close. A lot of Zerg players, a lot of newer Zerg players that are struggling with ZVP will be like, oh, I need to get Zerg speed really early because I need to be able to counterattack and go find pylons and stuff like that. But, you know, as long as you have a good amount of Zerglings to just basically buffer damage, you're going to be fine. You don't necessarily need Zergling speed. Scarlet showed us a good example of that this week in Team Arena Challenge, too, so...
Yeah, very much so.
Of course, now that you have it, you know, it's good to, you know, use as well. Obviously, you shouldn't just skip it completely, but you don't necessarily need to rush for it too quickly.
And a bunch of sentries and immortals coming out now for MC. Looks like he's going to go up to 6 gates on 2 bays. So, of course, he realizes that its attack didn't do near as much damage as it did in games past, so he can't safely take that 3rd quite yet. And Stephano actually just going to turn around and go back home with those roaches. Yeah,
that push that MC did went about as well for Stephano as you could possibly hope for. So he's in a great place right now. I mean, he's in one of those positions where he can just throw Zerglings away, for example. But, you know, he can tech on a post. I think he's just going to go for the Roach Max this game, though. It's a good map for it. It's a nice wide area to attack from. And look at this. He can already force MC back, force him to use some energy. Maybe if he's lucky, he can even take out a sentry or 2. Nope, not this time.
He is not as lucky as that, but
used a lot of energy.
Still does have a little bit of energy left, but yeah, forced quite a bit out there. So MC going to try and take an expansion here in just a second. It'll be up to those 400 resources momentarily. Observer going to get a pretty good look at his opponent's base. And you're right, no infestation pit, no spire, no anything, just billions and billions of roaches. Yeah,
Zerg players do like to do the roach max on this map because you can do it so quickly. You can get maxed out so fast because you can take your 3rd hatchery so early.
Yeah,
and you can just drone, and then suddenly produce a ton of roaches. And the other thing I mentioned a little bit earlier, too, where the attack paths are relatively wide on this map, too. So it's going to take a lot more energy from Protoss to cut up your army, and, you know, he's going to run out of sentry energy a lot quicker.
And, yeah, put that in perspective. He's lost about 20 supply in army so far. In 1145, he's already at 183 supply. So that's unopposed. He would have maxed before the 12-minute mark, and that's very impressive macro.
Here we go again. Oh, MC not paying attention.
Yeah, Stephano able to hug in with those roaches, picking off many of the valuable sentries. That's so well done.
This could be the end of the game, actually, very soon right here. Losing those sentries like that is a huge deal. He's going to kill at least another immortal, maybe even 2. Yeah, he's going to get them both. And this 3rd base is certainly in danger for MC.
Yeah, it's going to go down here. I think he's probably going to cancel it. No, is he going to defend?
Finish
Behind the unpowered photon cannon sitting around the back there. So the Nexus will stay up. He's trying to bring in as many more units as he can, but look at the stream of roaches making their way across the map. At the same time, Stephano taking us 4th at the 12 o'clock position as well.
Yep, Stephano has basically just crushed MC, man. He's overrunning. Yes. The roach problem is out of control. 100 supply ahead right now for Millennium Stephano, and I think we're going to see a GG from MC pretty soon. There it is. Yep, GG.
GG.